What's going on, my trainer club? Today we're going to check out my top tips to help you max out on Abra Community Day coming on Saturday in Pokemon Go. So welcome to the trainer club. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody. Let me know in the comments below, are you hyped for Abra? Finally, shiny, coming to Pokemon Go. We have had it delayed. It has been pre-released at GoFest on accident last year. Are you guys ready to max out? I am so ready for this Pokemon. I cannot wait to get the shiny. I am excited to see that shiny Alakazam because it looks so incredibly amazing. So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna cover all of our top tips to make sure you guys are ready and prepped to maximize because we have increased time. We have a change in the bonus, which went from XP to Stardust, which is very monumentally important for our game. And then we also gave you guys the tips in my pre-prep video to make sure you are stacking as many tasks as possible for the second and third tier evolution Pokemon to make sure that you have as much dust as you possibly can get in a 6-hour period. So let's get into all the details starting right now. Abra Community Day, this Saturday, the 25th, is going to go from 11 a.m. all the way till 5. You heard it right, you have 3 additional hours, which we have already covered. I hope you guys are ready to max out as much as possible. We have, obviously, shiny Abra that's going to be appearing in the wild. We additionally have the change up in the bonus, which is going to be 3 times catch Stardust, which is very, very important. We will cover that in a little bit in one of my tips. We also have a 2-hour evolution window that is going to go from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. in your local time. So that is going to be the time that you're going to evolve Kadabra all the way into Alakazam with the quick move of Counter. We also have the Illusions event, which is going to be $1, which is going to include rewards of 13,000 Stardust, a Poffin, a Rocket Radar, and then it says plus more rewards. So $1, I mean, for me personally, it's always worth it just because of its very small cost to play. And I just want to make sure that if something does come in there that is rare, I'm down for it. And even then, 13,000 Stardust, if we're going to use a star piece on it, if we're collecting it, 13,000 is going to go all the way until 20,500 Stardust. And that's just on one part while we are doing the rest of the event. So for $1, I am definitely down for that. And instead of the lore modules being 3 hours, we have now switched over to incenses being 3 hours. If you guys do have a great buddy, which I'm sure that you do, you are going to be able to get additional Pokeballs from your buddy. And then we also have a box, which is available for 1 per player. That is going to have one of the things that we have highly anticipated. We have 3 super incubators, we have 3 incenses, we have a Elite TM, which is the one thing that we all want, and then we have 30 Ultra Balls. So just looking at this package, besides the Elite TM, it is not worth it. But the Elite TM, in my opinion, does make it worth it because you are able to TM one of your Pokemon to get an older move set, to get some type of move that has been discontinued, whether it be a 3-hour raid move or a Community Day move on a Pokemon that you evolved beforehand and you really want to use it for Go Battle League or for raiding. That is going to be something that we are going to be able to get. So I will definitely have a video coming out, top Pokemon that are going to be worth Elite TMing. And the final feature is going to be if you use your snapshot feature, which I'm sure all of us will be, because number 1, we are going to have these tasks right now that are in the game. Probably there might be some Abra tasks as well out there, but you're going to get a surprise. There has been some hypotheses of which Pokemon it's going to be, but just make sure to go ahead and take your snapshots as much as possible. I'm sure in a future video very soon we will be seeing what that snapshot is going to be. So now with all this information out of the way, let's start off with my tip number 1. Tip number 1, you are definitely going to need to have as many Pokeballs as possible because let's think about this. The Safari zones, they are spawning Pokemon every 30 seconds. The Incense Day, it was 1 every minute. So either if it's 1 every minute or 1 every 30 seconds, you're going to be getting a lot of Pokemon, especially if you're playing for 6 hours. So you're going to need to have balls. I highly suggest that you have 30 gifts that you're able to open if you don't plan on hitting any Pokestops during that time frame, because it's going to help you get more balls. To get you more shiny potentials and you don't want to run out, you want to catch as many of these Abras as possible. So make sure to go into my Discord if you are not already in it to get your friends going, because there's a lot of active friends and it's a great way to keep track of these friends that are international or in other places, and you can go ahead and use that tool to hit XP bonuses as well. Make sure to notice if the Abra is going to run or not, because Abra is typically a Pokemon that you're going to hit it, and if it escapes from the ball, it runs away. So this would mean that you would heavily stock up more on the Great and the Ultra Balls for this scenario. So if this is the case, make sure to stock up on the Great and the Ultra Balls, and then have some golden raspberries as well to catch your shinies to make sure there is no chance that they're going to run away. And as far as the items go, we are going to get incenses lasting for 3 hours. So we're gonna need 2 of those guys, but the most important part is going to be Stardust. 3 times catch Stardust, which means for a total of 6 hours, we're going to need 12 star pieces. So 12 star pieces is definitely an absolute must. So for whatever it is for you, unfortunately, the Elite TM box is not including star pieces, which is definitely unfortunate. And then I also suggest stacking up on pineapple berries for the Abra. Number 1, because like I always recommend to you guys, the Gen 1 Pokemon and the Gen 2 Pokemon at some point are going to start becoming rarer and rarer as we get into Gen 6, 7, and 8, right? Because now we have to divide the spawn times with the newer Pokemon, and there's usually a little bit more bias towards the newer Pokemon. So although Abra is boosted in the windy weather because it's a psychic Pokemon and it does come out more prevalent, it is definitely a Pokemon that could get rarer and rarer. So pine up this guy, get as much candy as you possibly need so you never need more Abra candy ever again. Pineapple berries, absolute must. I would say at least 100, preferably 150 to 200 if you don't have too much Abra candy. And then 2 more things in tip number 1 for the pre-prep. We want to clean out our bags, have our bag space available. There's nothing worse than Pokemon spawning so frequently and you can't keep catching because you have to go into your bag, IV check a ton of Pokemon. So I would suggest 1/3 of your bag space, preferably if you're maxed out at 3,000, you are going to be at about 500 free plus spaces. That is going to be the best case scenario for where you're at. And the last tip is going to be, since we are going to be on the star pieces, you can get as many 10-kilometer eggs as possible during this time frame and hatch all of these eggs with all of your star pieces, with your catching, and then we'll check out the stack tasks and when you're going to catch those in a minute. But now on to tip number 2. Tip number 2 is going to be as we are getting closer to the event. So you are obviously going to want to start knowing what the PvP IVs are. So for Alakazam, I would definitely not suggest searching for it for the Great League. It's a little bit way too down as far as its level goes. It's glassy. It's going to be a little bit more heavy in the Ultra League, and then Master League is going to be 15, 15, 15s. So in the Ultra League, it's going to be a level 30 and a half at a 0, 14, 15 for the 100% IV. So definitely just check out the dropped attack, high defense and stamina, which is going to benefit your gameplay as much as possible. So normally in this tip, we would talk about the lures, but we are going to want to do our timers. I don't know if they are going to announce that the bulk item activation is going to be available for this Abra Day. It would be optimal if they did do it, but we don't know for certain. So if they don't, you're going to want for certainly to put timers on for every half hour to remind you to put on your star pieces to be able to keep maxing out, because you don't want to miss a minute of the triple Stardust. So on 11:30, 12, 12:31, 1:32, 2:33, 3:34, and 5, you're going to want to put on your timers to make sure to remind you to go in and reactivate a star piece to not miss out on any Stardust. 3 times catch bonus, definitely the most effective bonus that we can possibly get for Stardust in the game. And the last thing I want to recommend for you guys is do not catch your first Pokemon of the day until this triple Stardust activates, because if it is going to be your 7-day streak, it's going to be an astronomically large amount of Stardust. Even if it's not your 7-day streak, remember we're already getting increased dust for the first catch of the day. So save the first catch of the day for when 11 a.m. starts. And also what you could do is you could do a Go Battle League beforehand, not catch or claim any of the rewards, and then once it hits, go through and claim all the rewards right at 11 o'clock, claim your entire rank rewards, and then go in. And then also, if you do have a 7-day research streak rewards as well, remember you do get Stardust for catching this as well, so you can save that as well to max out completely on as much Stardust as possible. I seriously think if you do these tips for 6 hours, you probably could get 200 to 300 and even up Stardust from there. And if you are going to be out in public, obviously take precaution, but most importantly, you're going to want to be in a downtown area with a lot of stops that are going to be able to get you more items. So if you do choose to be outside, you're able to be outside, whatever situation is available to you, that is definitely what we're going to do. And now we're going to lead to tip number 3. Tip number 3 is going to focus on the start of the event. So my number 1 thing that I would suggest you guys doing, if you have been listening to me and you have been stacking up your research tasks, this is going to be when you catch all of those Pokemon. You want to clear through your entire research stack right out front, because you don't want to get into it later and be like, oh my gosh, it's 4:59, I didn't clear any of my research out, now I have Bayleafs and Blossoms and Audinos and all these other Pokemon that I've been suggesting you guys stack up on. That's going to give you even more Stardust than catching the Abras, and forget about catching those on the triple Stardust. So clean the stack out as soon as it hits 11 and get on to catching your shiny Abras. And then right right when the event starts, if you do have any best friends, ultra friends, or great friends, and you're teaming it up to get XP because we have level 50 coming at some point, you're definitely going to want to put on a lucky egg and hit them all up front or time them out to make sure they go all on that lucky egg. Don't take the XP for granted, especially at the best friend bonus, because 200,000 XP is a lot. Very easy way to increase your XP. And then obviously, if you are out in public or wherever you're at, if there are Pokemon that are spawning there, do not catch the Pokemon beforehand at least 30 minutes, because those Pokemon, once it hits 11, can change over into Abra potentials. So keep a lookout on that. And then as far as the Pokestops, if you are in a downtown area and if you are choosing to be out and if you're available to be out, make sure not to spin and complete any of those tasks, because typically they're going to switch over into tasks that are going to give you items as well as balls. And then in this task, you also want to keep on stacking up on your gifts. So you're going to have 30 available gifts from friends to be able to open during this day in case you are going to run out of your Pokeballs, which is going to lead us to tip number 4. Tip number 4 is going to be during the event, Abra is going to be boosted by windy weather. So if it is windy weather, obviously it's going to give you more Stardust. And additionally, any Pokemon that you see with windy or weather boosts, you are definitely going to want to catch them because they give you more Stardust. And any second or third tier evolution Pokemon, like if it is windy and a Pidgeotto spawns, I would shiny check the Abra, run if it's not shiny, catch the Pidgeotto, and then come back for the Abra, because in my opinion, the Stardust is more important than the Abra at that point. So as far as the 100% IVs, if they do put it in a task, it's going to be 575 for a 100% IV. And then at hatch level and at raid level, it's going to be 767. And then if it is not windy weather, every other condition, the Abra 100% IV at level 30 is going to be 1150. So anything close to 1150 without a windy boost is going to be what you're looking out for the 100% IV. And then if it is weather boosted, it can go all the way to level 35, meaning that the level 30 1150 is no longer the relevant highest CP 100% IV. It is now taken over by the weather boosted condition, which is going to be 1246. So obviously during this tip, if you are not choosing to be out and you're going to be playing from home, I highly suggest that you guys turn on Adventure Sync and stack up some Adventure Sync kilometers. Maybe go for a jog inside, or maybe do some jumping jacks for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And then as soon as the event is ready, open the game, and then you're going to be able to get your Adventure Sync to push through to be able to hatch those 10-kilometer eggs. Make sure to use super incubators on the 10-kilometer eggs to get those kilometers down as much as possible, especially if you are not going to be participating and walking outside. But if you are, you can go ahead and use regular incubators as well. And then finally, you absolutely must use the skip animation catch trick. So if you guys do not know about it, you haven't seen it before, make sure to check out my video up here. I go over all the in-depth topics to make sure you're going to be as proficient as possible, because if the Pokemon are spawning every 30 seconds from your incense, you're going to want to catch them as fast as possible. Use your berries, which is going to lead me to tip number 5. Tip number 5 is going to be, make sure to trade as many Abras as you possibly can, because you want to get luckies. Preferably you would trade it for somebody that is over 10 kilometers at least, which is going to give you 2 candies per trade. You get the potentials to get a lucky, and you can also trade with any lucky friends to get shiny Alakazam. That's going to be lucky if you do desire it, because you also want to get the counter on this Pokemon just to be safe. And then you also want to make sure to evolve a couple extra that aren't shinies, just to have the move to be able to trade with people down the line. I know, like right now, it would be very desirable for a lot of people to have Blast Burn on the Charizard, because Ultra League, I want one, I don't have one. So if you had like 10 to 15, you can always trade it with your friends, use it as trade leverage, or even just trade it just out of the good of your heart to help people out that forgot to get the move, that weren't able to, or if you're a little bit too busy during that time frame and you completely spaced on the Ultra League, you didn't get the Charmander to evolve to get it for the Great League or the Ultra League. Woo! So that's gonna do it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you're ready to go. I hope you have your Great and your Ultra Ball stacked up, your Pineapple Berries, you have your Golden Raspberries to catch every shiny Abra that is out there. You have enough gifts to get your Pokemon. You have chosen or not chosen to do the $1 event. You have your 1,280 coins to be able to buy your Elite TM box, and you are absolutely ready to go. So thank you guys for being here. Likers, commenters, subscribers, Patreon members, everybody who takes their support, subscription, and participation to that next level. I'm gonna see you out on the next video. Peace! I just want to take a moment and sincerely thank all of my Patreon members, everybody that has taken their subscription to the next level and chosen to support me on this platform. I greatly appreciate you guys. As a growing channel and really trying to grow and improve as much as I possibly can, I really appreciate the extra support. You guys mean the absolute world to me. I cannot wait to connect with you soon, and I appreciate you guys all for being a part of the Trainer Club. I will see you guys out on the next video.